Shall I record the session? Okay, so the recording has started. So let's start our class. So good morning, everybody. Good morning to a rainy day again. So we are talking about in our control rectifiers. Okay. So in our last class, we talked about our single phase half wave control rectifier, if you recollect, and we saw the and what are the advantages and disadvantages of using a single phase half wave rectifier. So these are what the disadvan- disadvantages of using a single phase half wave control rectifier. There is low output DC voltage, low DC output power, low efficiency, higher ripple voltage in both in the current and the voltage. Okay, low transformer utilization factor. Okay, there was a DC component in the input supply current. So all these factors were leading. So because of all these factors, actually we are not using these single phase half wave control rectifiers. Rather, in practice, what we use our single phase full wave control rectifier circuit. Okay, so most of the practical converter circuits I actually use a full wave control rectifier. So then we talked about basically the gating sequence. Obviously, when we are talking about the gating sequence, we'll be generating a pulse. Means the gating sequence for a single phase half wave control rectifier. In the gating sequence, we'll be generating a pulse at the positive zero crossing of the supply voltage Vs. যখনই সাপ্লাই ভোল্টেজটা আমার পজিটিভ ডিরেকশনে হচ্ছে, পজিটিভ ডিরেকশনে বাড়ছে, সে সময় আমি গেটিং সে সময় একটা পালস সিগন্যাল জেনারেট করব এবং সেই পালসটাকে আমি বা আমার ডিজায়ার যে অ্যাঙ্গেল আছে আলফা, যেটা ফায়ারিং অ্যাঙ্গেল, সেই ডিজায়ার অ্যাঙ্গেল দিয়ে আমি ওটাকে ডিলে করব, তাই তো? সো ডিলে দ্য পালস by the desired angle alpha and apply it between the gate and the cathode terminal, so T1 through a gate isolating circuit. So the next in line is our single phase full wave control rectifier. So this is a typical picture as can be seen from the picture here. So this shows the circuit diagram of a single phase full wave single phase fully controlled, okay, single phase fully controlled bridge converter. This is one of the most popular circuits and it is widely used. And this circuit, okay, and this is the most popular converter circuit and this is widely used in your uh, speed controls of separately excited DC machines. Okay, it is widely used in speed control of separately excited DC machines. Okay, one of most widely used in the speed control of separately excited DC machines. Okay, so what is happening is that as you can see that in the figure the RLE that has been shown here, okay, the RLE that have been shown here, okay, that can be thought of as what? That may represent the electrical equivalent of what? That may represent the electrical equivalent of a separately excited DC motor. Okay, that can represent the RLE load that we can see here. That can easily the RLE load that we can see here that can represent the equivalent circuit of a separately excited DC motor. Okay, so as you can see, so I hope the screen is visible. Okay, the as you can see that the thyristors T1 and T2 are will be fired together and thyristors uh, T3 and T4 would be fired together. Okay, so thyristors T3 and T4 would be fired. Obviously, we can understand we have the same concept we have talked about in our single phase full wave uncontrolled rectifier. So same thing can be carried on here also. So here the thyristors T1 and T2 would be fired together, and the thyristors T3 and T4 will be fired 180-degree after T1 and T2. Okay. So as you can see that from the circuit, it is clear that for any load current to flow, at least one thyristor from the top group, that is either T1 and T3, and one thyristor from the bottom group, that is either T2 or T4, must conduct. Okay, so there may be situation where none of the thyristors conduct. Okay, there can be situations where none of the thyristors conduct, and this situation will typically occur when the load current becomes zero. Okay, I'm again repeating, it is possible that that at a given moment none of the thyristors conduct, and this situation will typically occur when the load current, here the load current I0, okay, the load current becomes zero in between the firings of T1 T2 and T3 T4. Okay, so once the load current becomes zero, what will happen? Once the load current becomes zero, all the thyristors remain off. Okay, so in this mode the load current remains zero. Okay, so the operating condition of that converter at that time is known as the discontinuous conduction mode. Okay, so what we are, I'm again repeating, once the load current becomes zero, all the thyristors remains off, and since all the thyristors remains off and the load current remains zero, this operating condition of the converter is known as our discontinuous conduction mode. We'll be talking about it. We'll be seeing about a continuous conduction mode and a discontinuous conduction mode. So if you recollect, in our single phase for uncontrolled case also, means full wave uncontrolled case also, we had talked about the continuous and discontinuous mode. Okay, continuous conduction mode and discontinuous conduction mode. So here also we'll be finding the continuous conduction mode and the discontinuous conduction mode. So whenever we are talking that it is a continuous conduction mode, means the current will never be zero, and when we're talking about discontinuous conduction mode, that means that the current would be zero. Okay, so as you can see, so so here is a table which shows the voltage across the devices and the DC output voltage during each of these conduction modes. So as you can see, when the device is T1 T2, so when the mode is T1 T2, so T1 T2 voltage across them would be zero, whereas the voltage across T3 and T4 would be minus Vi, and V0 would be VR, would be Vi. And similarly, when the mode is T3, T4, so the T3 and T4 across the devices T3 and T4, the voltage would be zero, and the output voltage would be minus V. And when none of the devices are operating, so across this condition, when none of the devices are operating, so what is the voltage across each of them can be found out by simple our KVL, and we'll be getting these expressions. That the voltage across T1 would be Vi minus E by 2, across T2 would be this, across T3 would be this, and across T4 would be this. Whereas the voltage across V0, as you can see, it would be actually the EMF source, that is E. Okay, so it is to note what we can note here, that whenever T1 and T2 conducts, what is happening, that the voltage across T3 and T4 would be minus Vi. Okay, and therefore T3 and T4 can be fired only when the Vi is negative, that is when the source voltage is going for the negative zero crossing, correct? When the source voltage is in the negative half cycle of the input voltage, of the input supply voltage. It is written here, negative, when the input voltage is in the negative half cycle of the input supply voltage, then only T3 and T4 can be fired. Similarly, it is just the opposite for T1 and T2, that they can be fired only over the positive half cycle of the input supply voltage. Okay, and the voltage across each of the devices when none of the thyristors conduct, that is the case here, will depend upon the offset impedance of each device. প্রত্যেক ডিভাইসের যে কতটা অফসেট ইম্পিডেন্স কত, তার উপর ডিপেন্ড করে কি ভোল্টেজ রেটিং হবে যখন প্রত্যেক কটা, when none of the thyristors are conducting, would be decided. Okay, so let us see the figure of the continuous conduction mode and the discontinuous conduction mode then. ওকে, অ্যান্ড সেই রেসপেক্টে আমরা তাহলে আমাদেরকে আমরা কিছু কারেন্টের এক্সপ্রেশন বার করব, যেটা আমরা আগে করেছিলাম, এবার সেইগুলোই আবার করে আমরা করব ফর আ full wave control rectifier. So as you can see, so this is the typical figure. I hope the figure is visible. I'm একটু okay, I think the figure is visible. Okay, so as you can see, this is my supply voltage. Okay, so this is my supply voltage. Okay, so this is my supply voltage. Okay, and this is the continuous conduction modes. Okay, so T3 T4 T1 T2 T3 T4, and this is the output voltage, this is the load current, this is the source current, and this is the voltage that is occurring across the thyristors. Okay, there is a voltage that is occurring across the thyristor. So this is shown for the case when this circuit is shown for the case when thyristors T1 and T2 are conducting, and that's why the voltage across T1 and T2, when T1 and T2 is conducting, the voltage across the thyristors is shown to be 0. Okay, so as can be seen that as can see that the current here, that the load current I0 never becomes zero. Okay, so load current I0 never becomes zero. So we can say, so it is a continuous conduction mode. How we are saying so? Because what we can see that the I0 load current, okay, never becomes zero. That's why we can say that it is that this is a continuous conduction mode of operation that we are seeing. So as you can see that the alpha, theta, all the variables are given. Okay, so the firing angle of the converter is obviously alpha. You can understand that alpha is the uh, firing angle of the converter. Okay, and what we can see from the figure here also that the angle theta is the point where our voltage that is this is Vm sine theta. Okay, that is Vm here, that is root over 2 Vi can be written as Vm, correct? This can be written as Vm sine omega t. So theta is the position from this figure. Theta is basically this point. Okay, so this omega t equal to theta, what we'll be having, that how can we find the value of theta? So as you can see from the voltage waveform, that if this is the source EMF E, so sine theta would be equal to E by Vm. So we can easily find the value of theta from this expression. Now, as you can see that here it is written that T3 and T4 are conducting. So basically what we are assuming that at t equal to 0 negative, our T3 and T4 was conducting. Okay, so we are assuming that at T3 and T4, at t equal to 0 negative, T3 and T4 was conducting. Okay, so as what is happening, as you can see that as T1 and T2 are fired, so here at omega t equal to alpha, that as T1 and T2 are fired, they turn on. Okay, so T1 and T2 turns on. So what will happen? Since T1 and T2 has turned on, so therefore the current would be commutating to T3 and T4. Okay, means the current will be commutating from T3 and T4 to T1 and T2. Okay, so as T1 and T2 is fired at omega t equal to alpha, they turn on commutating T3 and T4. Now the current would be passing through T1 and T2. Okay, again see when T3 and T4 is fired, T3 and T4 is fired again at omega t equal to pi plus alpha. Okay, T3 and T4 is again fired at omega t equal to T3 at omega t equal to pi plus alpha. Okay, and again you can see on the as we proceed along, so that again our T1 and T2 would be fired after certain time delay here. Okay, after certain time delay again our T1 and T2 would be fired. Okay, so as you can see that how the load current is operating then, so as you can see that when omega t equal to alpha, what is happening at this point? At this point the load current is our less, I0 is at around this value, correct? Now as we can see that as our source EMF is greater than the DC link voltage till omega t equal to alpha. Okay, so after this what will happen? After this what will happen, that the load current will be uh, continue to fall. As you can see that from here the load current is continue to fall. Okay, as why? Because the EMF source is greater than the DC link till omega t equal to alpha. Okay, so but at omega t equal to alpha, as T1 and T2 are fired, at this position what is happening? At this position, see the V0 or the output, this V0 is greater than our is greater than E, and therefore I I0 current will starting to increase through the RLE. Okay, so the I0 current will starting to increase through this RLE. Okay, so at omega t equal to pi minus theta, what is happening at this position? What you can see at omega t equal to pi minus theta, our V0 again equals our E. So basically this point, that is our V0 equals our source EMF E. So what will happen then? So depending upon the load circuit parameters, this I0 would be reaching its maximum at this particular point, as you can see here. Okay, so depending upon the load circuit parameters, I0 will be reaching its maximum at around this point and will start falling afterwards. Why? Because after this, means after omega t equal to pi minus theta, our source EMF E is greater than our load voltage V0. Okay, so as you can see, so this continuous conduction mode will be possible only if I0 remains greater than 0 till T3 and T4 is fired again at omega t equal to pi plus alpha. Okay, whereupon the same process again repeats. Okay, so I0 যদি এই পজিশনে 0 হয়ে যেত, তাহলে কি আমি বলতে পারি কন্টিনিউয়াস কন্ডাকশন মোড? The answer is no. The I0 should not be remaining 0. Okay, so the I0, if I0 remains greater than 0 till T3 and T4 is again fired at omega t equal to pi plus alpha, so we can say that continuous conduction mode will be possible. What about the input AC current? So this is the input AC current, as you can see here. Okay, so the input AC current I1 is this I1 is obtained from our I0. So as by observing this I0, we can actually easily find out this I1. Okay, so we can say that when T1, T2 conducts, when T1, T2 is conducting, see I1 is equal to I0. So this is I0, so this is I1. Okay, so when T1 and T2 conducts, what we can say is I1 is equal to I0. Okay, and when T3 and T4 is conducting, as you can see, when T3 and T4 is conducting, what is happening to our I1? It is equal to minus of I0. So if this is I0, so this is the source current. Okay, so this is the source current. So when T3 and T4 is conducting, okay, conducts, what is happening? The source current I1 is equal to minus of I0. Okay, it is minus of I0. And what can, again, one thing can be noted, that when the thyristor turns off, when the thyristor T1 and T2 is turning off at this pi plus alpha, a negative voltage is applied for a duration of this. Okay, for a duration of, so for a duration of this, what is this duration? This is pi minus alpha. Okay, so I'm again repeating, when the thyristor T1 and T2 is turning off, it is turning off at omega t equal to pi plus alpha, a negative voltage, as you can see here, a negative voltage is appearing. Okay, a negative voltage is appearing. Okay, a negative voltage is appearing across the thyristors T1 and T2 for the time, for the period pi minus alpha. Okay, so the thyristors T1 and T2 must turn off during this interval for successful operation of the converter. Okay, for successful operation of the converter. So again, when our voltage has started to increase in this position, when the supply voltage started to increase, they would be becoming forward biased, but they would be fired only when after we have given the getting pulse to the uh, thyristors at omega t, means at a certain firing angle. Okay, then from here onwards, again the output will be getting. So as you can see, from here onwards, again we are getting the output. Okay, I hope the waveform you have understood. Yes, I hope you have understood the waveforms.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so next in line, so what we are seeing from these waveforms, one thing is clear, as you can see, that this DC voltage waveform is periodic over the over half the input cycle. Okay, it is periodic. This DC voltage waveform is periodic over half the input cycle. So what we can do, obviously, we can then express this as a Fourier series. Okay, so we can express this as a Fourier series. So I think এটা দরকার নেই. So let me just delete this slide. Okay, yes. So it is noted that the DC voltage waveform is periodic over half the input cycle. Okay, let save. Yes. So so since this DC output voltage waveform is periodic, as you can see, is periodic half the over half the input cycle. So we can find the Fourier analysis of this one. So if we go for the Fourier analysis, so this is the expression that we are getting, that V0 equal to VO0 average plus summation of n equal to 1 to alpha VAN cos 2n omega t plus VBN sin 2n omega t. So solving it, we are getting VOB, VN and VBN. All the expressions are we are getting. What is the RMS value? And therefore from these expressions we can find out the RMS value of the nth harmonic, that is V on RMS equal to 1 by root over 2 root over of Vn square plus Vbn square. And the RMS value of V0 can of course be computed directly from the expression of V0 RMS is equal to root over of 1 by pi integral of alpha to pi plus alpha V0 square, this V0 square into d omega t will be giving us Vm by root over 2. Okay, you may just try it yourself rather than mugging it up. Okay, now why this Fourier series expression of V0 is important? The Fourier series expression of V0 is important because it provides, I think it is written here. Yes, because it provides a simple method. Okay, it provides a simple method of estimating individual and the total harmonic current injected into the load. Okay, because the Fourier series expression of V0 is important because it provides a simple method of estimating individual and total RMS harmonic current. What is the effect? We'll be seeing it later. Okay, so what is the impedance offered by the load at the nth harmonic frequency? So the impedance offered by the load at the nth harmonic frequency is given by the expression Zn equal to root over of R square plus 2n omega L whole square. And I0 and I on RMS equal to V on RMS by Zn. And the ohmic value of the RMS, as you can see, I RMS equal to how much? Equal to summation of equal root over of summation of n equal to 1 to alpha I square into RMS. So from one thing it can be argued, from the above equation it can be argued that in an inactive circuit, when this term tends to 0 as fast as 1 by n square, because depending upon the n square the value of the Zn would be increasing. So this term would be going on decreasing as the number of our harmonics would be increasing. So in practice what will happen, that it will be sufficient to consider only first few harmonics to obtain a reasonably accurate estimate of the ohmic value of the RMS current. Okay, why? Because for the other harmonic values, this value would be very less. However, to obtain the current rating of the device to be used, it is necessary to find out a closed form expression of I0. Okay, so basically now what we're doing is that we will be finding out the closed form expression of I0, and how we are doing that, we'll be finding it out uh, with the help of the conditions under which the converter will operate in continuous conduction mode. Okay, so we can find out the value of I0, and let us see the conditions then, and how the boundary conditions are being used to find out the value of I0. Okay, so we know that in the what is happening, that in the interval of alpha to this pi plus alpha, okay, in the interval of alpha to pi plus alpha, when T1 and T2 are conducting, what we can say, when T1 and T2 are conducting, basically we can say, we can apply the KVL equation. So what would be the KVL equation? That should be equal to, from this expression, it is clear that it would be L di0 by dt plus R di plus Ri0 plus E equal to Vm sin omega t. Correct? That is when T1 and T2 are conducting. That is within alpha less than equal to omega t less than equal to pi plus alpha. So let us see the expressions then. So here is the first one. So in the interval of alpha less than equal to omega t less than equal to pi plus alpha, what we can write? We can write L into di0 by dt plus Ri0 plus E equal to Vm sin omega t. So the general solution will be given by this. How the general solution is coming? I think we have done it innumerable times in the previous cases also. Okay, for the uncontrolled cases. So we can just apply that knowledge only here, and we're getting to solve this equation. We're getting this expression where z equal to root over of r square plus omega square L square, tan phi equal to omega L by r, and E equal to Vm sin theta, and r equal to z cos phi. Okay, now obviously what we can see, that from this waveform, that at this position, that is at I0 omega t plus alpha, and at I0 omega t equal to pi plus alpha, the value of I0 will be the same. Okay, So at steady state, I0 omega t plus alpha would be equal to I0 omega t equal to pi plus alpha. Why it is so? Because I0 is periodic over the chosen interval. So if this is the case, then what we can say, so if this is the case, then using this boundary condition, we can, if we use those boundary condition in this expression, so we are getting the total expression of I0 as this. So how is the input current related to the output current? So again, the input current is related to the output current in this way, that as you can see, that I1 equal to I0 for alpha less than equal to omega t less than equal to pi plus alpha, and I1 equal to minus I0, okay, is equal to minus I0, this portion for the second part. Okay, so what we are writing here, so we are writing it in this way, that I0, where it is written here, so we are writing I1 equal to I0 for alpha less than equal to omega t less than equal to pi plus alpha, and I1 equal to minus I0 otherwise. Now as you can see from the waveform of I1, it's the input current. Okay, from the this is the waveform of the input current, no, this is the waveform of the input current, correct? So from this waveform of the input current, it will be interesting to find out the Fourier series expression of I1. But what will happen, that using this actual expression of means using actual expression for I1 while finding out the Fourier series of this I1 will lead to exceedingly complex calculations. Okay, so how we can simplify it? We can simplify it by replacing I0 by its with its average value. Okay, so here as you can see, we're replacing I0 with its average value. Here average value is I0. So when we can actually use when we can actually means say that we have achieved a significant simplification by replacing I0 with its average value, I0. This will be justified provided, write down, justified provided কি বলেছিলাম, দেখো এই সেম কেস কিন্তু আমরা আনকন্ট্রোল কেসও আমরা পড়েছি। জাস্টিফাইড প্রভাইডেড দ্যাট দ্য লোড, justified provided that the load is highly inductive, তাই তো, the load is highly inductive. Okay, and the ripple on I0 is negligible compared to capital I0 or the average value of I0. Understood? Yes?
Yes, sir.
ওকে, তাহলে আমরা কি ধরছি, তো তাই যদি ধরি দ্যাট দ্য সিস্টেম ইজ দ্যাট দ্য লোড ইজ হাইলি ইন্ডাকটিভ, ছবিটা দেখো একটা ডটেড লাইন দেখা যাচ্ছে, তাই তো? সো হোয়াট উই ক্যান সি দ্যাট দ্য ওয়েভফর্ম অফ I1 becomes a square wave. As you can see that the waveform of I1, so this is, so I'm again drawing the dotted line. See, the waveform of I1 becomes a square wave. Okay, so the waveform of I1 becomes a square wave with transitions at omega t equal to alpha and at omega t equal to pi plus alpha. Okay, so what we can say, so what we can say, that I1 or II1 is the fundamental component, of this idealized I1. Okay, so capital I1 is the fundamental component of this idealized I1. Okay, so I1 RMS আমরা জানি 2 root over 2 by pi into I0. If that is the case, then I1 RMS আমরা ধরছি that should be equal to the average current. তাহলে দেখো এখান থেকে, তাহলে দেখো ইনপুট কারেন্ট ডিস্টরশন ফ্যাক্টর কত, it is 2 root over 2 by pi. And what about the input factor or the input power factor? So input power factor is obviously it is given by the actual power by the apparent power. So if that is the case, then the input power factor is given as 2 root over 2 by pi into cos alpha. Okay, very important. So see, there is a firing angle, the firing angle is appearing into this into the expression of input power factor. So what is happening, that the rectifier, okay, so because of the presence of this alpha, okay, what is happening, that the rectifier appears as a lagging power factor load to the input AC system. Okay, so because of the presence of this alpha, rectifier appears as a lagging power factor load to the input AC system. Why? So because it is very clear that larger the value of alpha, larger alpha, poorer is the power factor, correct? Larger value of alpha will lead to poorer value of the power factor. Okay, and one thing is also clear, that since means one thing is also clear, that if we talk about the original waveform, okay, or we can say that the input current, what is inside the input current, there is a lot of harmonic current. Okay, so the input current also has a significant amount of harmonic current, and therefore what will happen, that this rectifier will also appear as a harmonic source to the utility. Okay, so because of the presence of significant amount of harmonic current in the input current, the rectifier will also appear as a harmonic source. Okay, it will also appear as a harmonic source to the utility. Okay, so this is our continuous conduction mode of operation. Next in line is the operation in the discontinuous mode of operation. So as you can see, that if the values of RLE, okay, if the values of RLE, let me just write it down. The values of RLE is chosen such that I0 becomes 0. Okay, I'm again repeating. If the values of RLE are such that I0 becomes 0, okay, before omega t equal to pi plus alpha, as can be seen here, okay, before omega t equal to pi plus alpha, so what we are saying, that the conduction has turned out to be a discontinuous conduction mode. Okay, so the conduction has become a discontinuous conduction. Okay, so obviously then at the boundary between the conduction, means at the boundary between the continuous and the discontinuous conduction, the minimum value of I0, which occurs at omega t equal to alpha, as can be seen here, at omega t equal to alpha and at omega t equal to pi plus alpha, would be equal to 0. Okay, at omega t equal to pi plus alpha would be equal to 0. Okay, so using these two boundary conditions, we obtain the condition for continuous conduction. So as you can see, that if this expression, if this is the expression, and here if it is greater than equal to 0, we can say that we have achieved a continuous conduction operation, otherwise the output would be a discontinuous one. Okay, so let us see that what is happening in this discontinuous conduction mode. So obviously again, this is the supply voltage. I hope you can understand. So this is the supply voltage, this is the load voltage, this is the load voltage, this is the supply voltage Vi. Okay, and this is the load current I0. Okay, so as you can see, what is happening, that in this mode I0 starts rising from 0 as T1 and T2. As you can see here, T1, this is T1, T2, this is T3, T4. Okay, so as you can see, that in this discontinuous conduction mode, I0 starts rising. As you can see here, I0 starts rising from 0 as T1 and T2 are fired at omega t equal to alpha. So this is omega t equal to alpha. Okay, so the load current is continuing to increase as was in the previous case. So the load current is continuing to increase till omega t equal to till omega t equal to pi minus theta. So this is again omega t equal to pi minus theta. Here it is written here pi minus theta. Okay, and this is our alpha. Okay, and this portion here is our pi plus alpha. Here it is written pi plus alpha. Okay, so what is, so let me again repeat. So in this discontinuous conduction mode, I0 starts rising. Okay, so I0 starts rising from 0 as T1 and T2 are fired at omega t equal to alpha. Okay, and the load current continuously increase, means continues to increase till omega t equal to pi minus theta. Okay, so after this, what is happening? As you can see, after this, the output voltage becomes less than the source EMF E. This is the source EMF. So since the output voltage V0 becomes less than the source EMF, so as you can see that the I0 will start to decrease. Okay, so I0 decreases, and this I0 decreases till omega t equal to beta. This is omega t equal to beta. Okay, omega t equal to beta, where again it becomes 0. Okay, when it becomes 0. Okay, so as you can see that, and in these conditions, since the thyristors cannot conduct, okay, since the thyristors cannot conduct current in the negative or in the reverse direction, I0 remains at 0 till omega t equal to pi plus alpha when T3 and T4 are fired. I'm again repeating, since the thyristors, since the thyristors cannot conduct current in the reverse direction, I0 remains at 0 till omega t equal to pi plus alpha when T3 and T4 are fired. Okay, so at this position T3 and T4 is fired, as you can see. Okay, so during this period, that is from omega t equal to, means during the period of beta less than omega t. Okay, so during the period of beta less than equal to omega t less than equal to pi plus alpha, none of the thyristors are conducting. Okay, none of the thyristors conduct. Okay, apostrophe is hobe na, thyristors. Okay, none of the thyristors conduct. Okay, and so what will happen? So during this time, so during this, what will happen? What can we can see easily that during this time, V0 attains the value of what it is attaining. It is a value. It is attaining the value of E. Okay, during this time. Sorry, during this particular time, as you can see. Okay, that is between omega t equal to, means from beta less than equal to omega t to pi plus alpha. What is happening? That none of the thyristors are conducting, as can be seen from the conduction diagram. The hashed lines are shown. None of the thyristors are conducting, and the output voltage V0 would be attaining the value of E. Okay, so what is the average voltage, output voltage, and the average output current for the discontinuous conduction mode? So as you can see, it can be written by this expression, that is V0 average is equal to root over 2 VI. আমি এটা যে বই থেকে নিয়েছি সেটা obviously root over 2 VI আছে. It can be same thing written as VM also, the same thing. Okay, root over 2 VI means means VM only. So V0 average equal to root over 2 into VI by pi. This is the expression where beta is the extinction angle, where the current is becoming 0 at omega t equal to beta. Okay, so what can be seen, that it is observed that the performance of the converter is strongly affected by the value of beta. Okay, so the value of beta in terms of the load parameters and alpha can be found So how we are finding it out? So as you can see, in the interval of alpha less than equal to omega t less than equal to beta, means from this position alpha alpha less than equal to omega t less than equal to beta. So এই পজিশনে যখন t1 t2 conduct করছে তখন we can apply the KVL equation. So we are applying the KVL equation, we are getting this expression, that is L di0 by dt plus ri0 plus e equal to Vm sin omega t. আমরা জানি I0 omega t alpha তে the value of I0 is 0, applying that in our expression. So we are getting this is the expression of I0. Again, if this is the expression of I0, তাহলে এবার এই এক্সপ্রেশনে আমরা কি পুট করব, আমরা জানি I0 ওমেগা টি ইকুয়াল টু বিটা ইকুয়াল টু 0। সো সো কি হবে, ওমেগা টির জায়গায় আমি বিটা পুট করব, তাহলে আমরা একটা এক্সপ্রেশন পাবো দ্যাট উইল বি লুকিং সামথিং লাইক দিস। ওকে, this is the expression that we are getting. So given the value of phi alpha and theta, the value of beta can be found by solving the above equation. এখানে হয়তো কোশ্চেনটা, কারণ আগেন দেখতে পাচ্ছ এটা একটা ট্রায়াল এন্ড এরর মেথডে তোমাকে সলভ করতে হবে। ওকে, এটা একটা এমপিরিক্যাল ফর্মুলা, মানে একটা ইটারেটিভ সলিউশন চলে আসছে। তার জন্য সেমিস্টারে কি করা হতে পারে, দ্যাট ভ্যালু অফ বিটা উড বি গিভেন। ওকে, অ্যান্ড ইউ মে হ্যাভ টু ফাইন্ড আউট আইদার আলফা থিটা অর দ্য ফাই ভ্যালু। ওকে, ওভাবে অঙ্কগুলোকে সেট করা হয়। So this type of problems are find in you can find in any type of books. You may just consult them. Please note that I am not doing any problems in the class. So please consult any book on power electronics for doing the problems. Okay, so এরপর যেটা পড়বো সেটা হচ্ছে আমাদের what is the gating sequence. That gating sequence is very clear, that we first of all again we have to generate a pulse signal at the positive zero crossing of the supply voltage Vs, and we have to delay the pulse by the desired angle of alpha and apply it to the gate and cathode terminals of transistors T1 and T2 through a gate isolating circuit, and we have to generate another pulse of delay angle alpha plus pi and apply the same pulse between the gate and source terminals of T3 and T4 through the gate isolating circuits. And like this way we will be applying for the other cases also. Okay, now a very important portion আমরা চলে যাচ্ছি, that is the two quadrant operation of this single phase full wave controlled rectifier. So আমরা যে এইখান থেকে যে ফিগারটা দেখতে পাচ্ছি, so from this figure it shows us two regions of single phase full wave converter operation in the VDC versus IDC plane. Okay, so in the first quadrant what we can see, that when the trigger angle alpha is less than 0, when alpha is less than 0, sorry, less than 0 bolchi, less than 90 degree, sorry. Okay, so in the first quadrant when the trigger angle alpha is less than 90 degree, what we can see that VDC and IDC both are what, both are positive. Okay, both are positive, and that's why what we can say, that the converter is operating as a converter is operating as a controlled rectifier. Okay, it is operating as a controlled rectifier. So rectifier কাজ কি, and thus it is converting the AC input power into DC output power. Okay, so এখানে কি হবে, the power, obviously the power flows from কোথা থেকে কোন দিকে যায়, একটা রেকটিফায়ার সার্কিটে power flows from the
AC side to DC.
from the input source to the load circuit, correct? It is power flows from the input source to the load circuit. So this is a very normal controlled rectifier operation when our PDC is positive. Okay, we are getting a controlled rectifier operation when the when our PDC is positive. Just the opposite happens when alpha is greater than 90 degree. Okay, so when alpha is let me write it in a different ink. So when alpha is greater than 90 degree, what we can see is that VDC becomes negative. Okay, VDC negative but IDC positive. Okay, VDC is negative but IDC is positive. And what we can say about the average output power PDC, so PDC becomes what, it also becomes negative. Okay, so the average output power PDC also becomes negative, and power flows from which side to which side now, the power flows from the load circuit. Okay, power flows from the load circuit to the input source. Okay, power flows from the load circuit to the input source. So the operation occurs in the what quadrant? As you can see, it is occurs in the fourth quadrant. So now this converter is operating as a line commutated inverter. Okay, it is operating as a line commutated inverter. Okay, so what we can, so we may tempted to conclude that the same converter circuit, same converter circuit we use korchilam, that same converter circuit may be operated as an inverter by just increasing the alpha beyond 90 degree. তাই তো অ্যাপারেন্টলি তো তাই মনে হচ্ছে, তাই তো যে আমরা যদি সেম কনভার্টার সার্কিটটা যদি আমি ইনভার্টারটা মানে ইনভার্টার হিসাবে যদি ওটাকে অপারেট করাতে চাই, তাহলে আমাকে আলফাটা ফায়ারিং অ্যাঙ্গেলটা গ্রেটার দেন 90 ডিগ্রি করতে হবে। ঠিক আছে, so this might have been true had it been possible to maintain continuous conduction for alpha less than 90 degree without making any modification to the converter or load connection. Okay, এটা true হতে পারতো if we were able to maintain continuous conduction for alpha less than 90 degree without making any modification to the converter or the load connection. Okay, so to supply power back, to supply power from the load to the input surface, or means to the input source, the load EMF source can be utilized. Okay, let me just look at the figure here. So this load EMF source can be utilized, but as you can see, what is happening, that the connection of this source is such that it can only absorb power but cannot supply it. ওকে, ছবিটা দেখে বোঝা যাচ্ছে যে আমরা টু সাপ্লাই পাওয়ার টু দ্য ইনপুট সোর্স আমরা লোড ইএমএফ সোর্স ক্যান বি ইউটিলাইজড, লোড ইএমএফ সোর্সটাকে আমরা ইউটিলাইজ করতে পারি, কিন্তু দ্য কানেকশন অফ দিস সোর্স অ্যাজ ক্যান বি সিন is such that it can only absorb power but cannot supply it. ও শুধু পাওয়ারটা অ্যাবজর্ব করতে পারছে কিন্তু সাপ্লাই করতে পারছে না। ইনফ্যাক্ট যদি আমরা ট্রাই করি, মিনস উই ক্যান সে দ্যাট ইনফ্যাক্ট ইফ অ্যান অ্যাটেম্প্ট ইজ মেড to supply power to the AC side by making alpha greater than 90 degree, what will happen, that the energy stored in this inductor, in the load inductor, will be exhausted. Okay, if an attempt is made to supply power to the AC side by making alpha greater than 90 degree, the energy stored in the inductor would be exhausted and the current will become what, and the current will become discontinuous. I think I have a figure on that one. Yes, so as you can see, that if that is the case when alpha is greater than 90 degree, so this is our 90 degree case, correct? So this is our alpha 90 degree. So if alpha is greater than 90 degree, see what will happen, that the current would become discontinuous. Okay, because most of the inductor would be the most of the energy stored in the inductor would be exhausted. Okay, so to obtain a sustained inverter mode of operation, the connection of the E must be reversed. Okay, so or let me write it down in this way. For sustained inverter operation or inverter mode of operation, the connection of E must be reversed. Okay, এখানে আমি লিখে দিই একটা জিনিস, that the connection of E is such that it can only, কি বলেছিলাম, absorb power, না, it can only absorb power but not supply it. Obviously this is for a rectifier mode of operation এর যে সার্কিটটা দেখিয়েছিলাম সেটা রেসপেক্টে। ওকে, কিন্তু যদি ইনভার্টার অপারেশন করতে চাই, ফর সাস্টেইন ইনভার্টার লিখে দিই মোড অফ অপারেশন, the connection of E must be reversed as can be seen from here. Okay, so এই কন্ডিশনে দেখো, এই কন্ডিশনে কিন্তু আমরা দুটো ছবি আমরা পেতে পারি, সেম যেরকম আমরা রেকটিফায়ারের কন্টিনিউয়াস কন্ডাকশন মোড আর ডিসকন্টিনিউয়াস কন্ডাকশন মোড আমরা দেখেছিলাম, এখানেও কিন্তু আমরা ফর ইনভার্টার মোড অফ অপারেশন আমরা কিন্তু কন্টিনিউয়াস কন্ডাকশন মোড আর ডিসকন্টিনিউয়াস কন্ডাকশন মোডের ছবি আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি। ওকে, আমরা ওটার যাচ্ছি না, কারণ as you can see in the left hand side we have the continuous conduction mode of operation for inverter. On the right hand side we have the discontinuous conduction mode of the inverter for the circuit of the inverter as shown here. Okay, circuit connection in the inverter mode. Please remember that the analysis of the converter remains unaltered from the rectifier. I think it is written, yes. Analysis of the converter remains unaltered from the rectifier mode of operation provided theta is defined as shown in the rectifier mode of operation. So rectifier mode of operation যদি আমরা থিটা ডিফাইন করা থাকে তাহলে কিন্তু রেকটিফায়ার যেরকম আমরা অ্যানালিসিস করেছি ইনভার্টার মোড অফ অপারেশনকেও আমরা সেভাবে অ্যানালাইজ করতে পারবো। ওকে, সো আজকে অবধি এখানেই থাক। নেক্সট ক্লাসে যেটা শুরু করবো সেটা হচ্ছে সিঙ্গেল ফেজ সেমি কনভার্টার্স। অ্যাজ ইউ ক্যান সি দিজ আর ফুল ওয়েভ। হ্যাঁ বলো।
স্যার বলছি এখানে ইনভার্টার মানে জাস্ট পাওয়ারটা অপোজিটে ফ্লো হচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ, পাওয়ারটা ইনভার্টার মানে অ্যাজ ইফ যেন আমরা লোড সাইড থেকে সোর্স সাইডে দিচ্ছি পাওয়ার।
মানে যেরকম স্যার আমরা ইনভার্টার করি যে ডিসি থেকে এসি ওরকম হচ্ছে না।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, সেটাই তো হচ্ছে। এখানে আউটপুটটা কি ছিল? ডিসি ছিল তো। এইটা কি? এটা তো ডিসি তো।
হ্যাঁ ডিসি সোর্স।
ঠিক আছে তো, এটা তো ডিসি। ওকে, সো এই ডিসিটাই আউটপুট আমার। তুমি তাহলে কি হবে যেন অ্যাজ ইফ যেন আমার এটা ইনভার্টার মোড অফ অপারেশনে কাজ করছে। এই ওয়েভফর্ম দেখে তুমি ক্লিয়ার হবে আরো। যেহেতু তোমার আউটপুটটা তাহলে তুমি দেখো ঠিক উল্টে যাচ্ছে। আগে আগে আউটপুটটা কি ছিল? ইট ওয়াজ ইন দিস পোর্শন, নো? In the rectifier mode of operation, but in the inverter mode of operation it is operating something like this. Okay, and এইটা হচ্ছে কারেন্টটা যদি ওটা একটা কন্টিনিউয়াস মোড অফ অপারেশন চাই। ওকে, আর এটা হচ্ছে কারেন্ট যখন একটা ডিসকন্টিনিউয়াস মোড অফ অপারেশন চাইছি। ঠিক আছে? ওকে, মানে আমার এই সার্কিটটাই যেন পাওয়ারটা অ্যাজ ইফ যেন এবার এইখান থেকে এখানে ফ্লো করছে। ওকে, তো এরপর যেটা আমরা পড়বো আজকে, আমরা এত অবধি পড়বো, এরপর যেটা পড়বো সেটা হচ্ছে দিস ইজ আ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট সার্কিট which is known as our single phase semi converter. Okay, I think the name is here. Okay, it's a single phase semi converter. This is a full wave half controlled bridge converter. As you can see, full wave half controlled. Okay, half wave control half control এর তফাৎটা এই টার্মগুলো কিন্তু একটু খেয়াল করবে। পরীক্ষায় অনেক সময় তোমাদের সিনিয়ররা ভুল করেছে যে সেমি কনভার্টার আমি বলেছি ওরা হাফ ওয়েভ কন্ট্রোলড ছবি এঁকে বসে আছে। সেমি কনভার্টার মনে হচ্ছে হাফ কন্ট্রোলড, মিন্স ইট ইজ বেসিক্যালি হ্যাভিং both the thyristor and the diodes. Okay, so as you can see, this is the picture of a single phase semi converter circuit, which is a full wave half controlled bridge converter which uses two thyristors as you can see here and two diodes connected in the form of a full wave bridge. So how it is operating and what are its usefulness, all will be studying in our next class. আজকে এত অবধি থাকুক। Okay, so thank you everybody, we'll be again joining in the next class. Okay, আজকে এত অবধি থাকুক, we'll be again joining in the next class. Okay, so let me stop the recording also. নেক্সট ক্লাস নেক্সট ওয়েডনেসডে হবে। যদি কিছু অসুবিধা না থাকে আমি অবভিয়াসলি আগে থেকে ইনফর্ম করে দেবো। তোমাদের সিআর কে একটু বলবে আমার সাথে কন্ট্যাক্ট করতে, কারণ সিআর এর মনে হয় জাস্ট একটা হাই লিখে পাঠাতে বলবে। সিআর এর হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ নাম্বারটা মোস্ট প্রবাবলি আমার কাছে নেই। হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, তোমরা একটু আমাকে একটু পাঠিয়ে দিতে বলবে। ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ এভরিবডি।